Hi, Ren. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, good. You made it on a Saturday. I'm so happy. I'm just going to connect to Facebook Live so that anybody that's streaming is going to be there. And thank you so much for joining. Let me just share my screen here. Share screen. And I want to share this. Can you see my screen?
It's just loading. Oh, there it
It's
is.
just loading. All right, excellent. Let me know when you can see it.
It's there now.
It's there. Awesome. Thank you so much. It's 12 o'clock. We're going to get started. Today is going to be an exciting day. Any thoughts, any comments from yesterday?
Am I the only one in here?
Sorry?
Am I the only one talking right now?
You're the only person. So, but there's a couple of people on live. So it's going to be you and I. You can stay quiet. You don't have to participate. It's all good.
Okay.
All right, so let's get started, right? Yesterday we ended and I had a suggestion of what and how we would look at success. So today we want to be able to deep dive into what success means and what is success for everybody. So I'm going to invite you and say, okay, you know what, if I were to look at the traditional aspects of success, what does traditionally we define success as? So success can be defined as being famous, being rich, being influential, being knowledgeable, being powerful, being accomplished, just being opulent, right? Having all the luxuries in life. And that's what we sort of see, right? You look at things that are happening in the world, all the things that are happening in Ukraine, we're putting sanctions on people because of their opulence so that they have a challenge in their life. So we want to be able to look at the definition of success. Is there anything else that you would put in there, Ren? No? All right, we're good. So what I'd like to do is to sort of go back to what I had said yesterday, right? Is that we all have our own unique DNA. So then why should we conform to this notion of success that's been put out by society for us? We should have our own unique approach to success. And what I mean by that is if you look at actually Earl Nightingale's definition of success, he says success is not the result of making money, but it is earning money that is the result of success. And so success is directly proportional to the service that we provide. And this is really important because when you think of it, there is a life purpose that we have. And until we start functioning on that life purpose and we find out what that purpose is, we always are struggling to get success. And we sort of identify wealth as being success, recognition as being success. So most people have this backwards. They believe that you are successful if you earn a lot of money. The truth is that you can earn a lot of money after you're successful, but you become successful because there is more to money than just being successful. Think of it this way, right? When you are camping and you want fire, you don't stand in front of the fire pit and say, hey, okay, like give me fire and then I'll give you the wood, right? You got to put the wood in there. And then you got to start working at it, whether it's starting with a flame or putting some sort of a kindle in there to be able to start that. So that's what success is about. So I invite you to think of the definition and say, what if we are already successful? And success needs to be based on our values. It's just that we have this gap that we are not really recognizing what we already have, right? So what I had suggested yesterday is, what if we looked at success being rich in time, right? Having the luxury to just slow down, just be, enjoy life, enjoy the experiences, and enjoy the journey as we're going, as opposed to just being on this rat hole or a hamster wheel that we are, right? What if we were to do some deep work, right? Work with fewer people, but over a longer period of time, having profound effect on the people, finding the influential people that we have, but also being an influence on other people. right? Giving back to the community. We always hear about, I want to give back to the community, but I'll do it when I'm successful. But what if you're already successful right now to be able to do that? That you start working and cultivating a sense of a shared purpose with conscious communities, giving the gifts that you already have, right? Taking time back and taking that opulence back and just living simply, reducing the number of possessions that we have, right? We want to have a bigger house, a bigger space, a bigger car, but what if we don't need that? That may be driving us into our setbacks as opposed to our comfort and the life that we want to live. Benjamin Zender has this definition of success is, to be surrounded by people with shiny eyes. And what I mean by that is like, when somebody sees you, do their eyes light up? Or do they like, oh God, Al-Karim shown up, right? We want that shiny eyes, but when people see you, you actually, with your eyes and your presence, brighten the room. Can we be that person, right? We take fun away from a lot of things. You look at children. Why do children, when you look at children, you just get that happiness? Because they play and they have fun without any judgments or speculations. They just have that energy within them. We talked about energy a couple of days ago. How do you change that vibrational energy? And when you have that higher energy, then your spiritual connection and your intuition starts growing, and you start wanting to help others without anything for return. And that becomes success, because then you get more of what you want. It's like a river that's flowing. When a river is flowing, it is clean water. When it sets, it becomes gucky. And so how can we become that example of the life that we want to be really authentic? And we do that by continually learning. And I complimented all of you on yesterday, and I know I'm repeating this because these are things that we sort of went through really quickly, and I want to make sure that we want to be able to understand this and then be able to comprehend and see, even if we can take one or two of these 11 or 12 items that are on the list, and how can we start maybe implementing one at a time. Remember, all these 10, 11 items or 12 items cannot be done in one day, but can you pick one that resonates with you? One item that you say, okay, you know what, this is the way I'm going to change my life, to see if that changes my success ratio or my success value. Let me give you a story, right? Talking about values. R.D. Tata, who is an amazing philanthropist, but also very successful in terms of when we look at material wealth, had a friend who said that he always used to misplace his pens. And so for that, he always used cheap pens. And so that he did not have to worry about losing them. He was, he was worried about his habit of just, losing pens all the time. So Mr. Tata suggested to him to buy the costliest pen that he could afford. And so he did that. He went and bought a 22-karat gold cross pen. And nearly after 6 months, he met Tata again, and he says, Tata asked him, how's that pen doing? And he goes, here it is. I still have it. And so Tata explained to him that it wasn't the value of the pen that made the difference. It was his value about it. The person changes, not the product outside. And so when we started valuing that item, you change yourself to say, okay, you know what? I need to be more conscious. I don't need to be more aware. I need to be more effective in what I am doing with what is most important to me. So the one thing that we always complain about is, I can't do this because I don't have time. I don't have the ability to do this. What if all of that changed? There's a chat. You've had that experience before. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That's really awesome. So, when we change that, how does that do? And so this is a really difficult question to ask, but a good one to ask. Are you dying to live, or are you living to die? We are in a pursuit of life that we want only to realize that when we reach the end of our life, we regret not enjoying that journey. And so what makes it really important then is to say, okay, you know what? What is my purpose in life? Am I chasing just things that I think I want to do or want? Or am I chasing the real life? Or am I really wanting what I want? And if we think about what Albert Hubert said, right? Ask yourself if you're doing today, what you're doing today is getting closer to where you want to be, because work to become, not acquire. And the key over here is the word be, right? We're human beings. We want to become, right? Become. You're a being that is coming to its true purpose. So ask yourself if every action that you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be. I'm going to invite us to look at the definition of life, right? Let's break the word life into 4 different characters, right? The first one is the letter L. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind in this world? What do you want people to remember you for? If you've attended any funeral, the last thing that you will hear is how much money he's left behind. What they'll remember is the kind of family he had, the kind of kids or she, or how many kids they raised, the kind of change they made in somebody's life. The stories people will share is about the change that they impacted on, not how much they accumulated or the kind of house that they lived in or the kind of car that they drove. So what is the legacy that you want to leave behind? The second is impact. Can you make your impact go deeper or wider or both? You know, when I tell people that I'm running a 21-day challenge, my first question that people ask is how much it costs. And when I tell them it's free, they're taken back. If I can make a change in one person's life, Mother Teresa says that, you know, it takes one pebble in a pond to create a ripple effect. So whether there's one person on the call today or there's 100 people, there's over 200 people that have registered in this challenge. Why is it that only one person is showing up? Why is there more people showing up? It doesn't matter to me. You're here because you're supposed to be here. The synchronicity is what's more important. There is no coincidences in this world. So can you make a bigger impact in your life? Remember, I said success, as Earl Nightingale said, is service before success. Because success will come from that service, which will give you all that opulence that you're wanting, whichever way you define that in. And when you do that in life, when you want to live a life that you want to live a legacy, that you want to have an impact, then you have that freedom. And what does freedom look like for you? And what does it mean to you? For some, freedom is being able to do whatever they want. For others, freedom may be servicing in their community or making a change in their lives or making the change in somebody else's lives. And then we end up with E, which was what we talked about a couple of days ago. Energy. Everything is energy. We're energy beings. So what energy fascinates you? What motivates you? Where is your energy at today? You know, I was going through some of my notes and I came up through this today, which is really, really powerful. Satya Nadella had written 7 small stories, and this is one of the stories that showed up. And he goes, I interviewed my grandmother for part of a research paper I was working on in my psychology class. And I asked her to define what success meant in her own words. And she said, success is when you look back at your life and the memories make you smile. We don't have to do that till at the end of our life. Can you look back today and have a smile on your face, no matter what that was? Because if it was a tough time, it was only because it made you stronger. If it was a good time, then it was only to make you understand what that means and how that looks like. I want to share a story with you. And the story goes like this. There was a king, because you know what, I can't end without a story, right? So there was a king, and the king had a dream. And the dream was that he got three questions. He got three questions that he was really disturbed about. He didn't know why he was having those three dreams. And so he went to his his court, and he said, you know what, I've had these three questions and I'm not sure why I have these three questions. Like, can somebody help me out understand? And so the three questions were very important to him to know what was happening. And he says, what is the most important time? Who is the most important person? And what was the third question? I'm trying to remember here now. I forgot that. There it is. And what is the most important time? Who is the most important person? And what is the most important thing? Now, these are important questions. And I'm thinking that I'm going to leave this actually for next week, because as I leave you guys here today, I want you to think about these three questions. What is the most important time? Who is the most important person? And what is the most important thing to do? That's going to be your homework that I'm going to leave you behind with. I know that I promised you a story, but I'm going to hold back on that, because that's what I want you to think about. I want to thank you again. We are just over the 15-minute period again, but thank you all for joining. For those that are online, if there's any questions, I'll stay online for a couple more minutes. If not, thank you so much. We'll see you at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Until then, have an awesome weekend.